Hello and welcome. My name is Andy Crook and I'm your host for tonight's training topic on why build systems. Every week, my mission is my aim is to help garage owners become more successful in business, and how I do that is by going live on one of the 5 pillars of business as I see it. Tonight, the pillar is systems, and we're going to ask the question, why build systems? One of the sort of common responses I get from garage owners when I talk about building systems are just basically a load of objections about why they don't have systems. And we're going to try and overcome some of those objections tonight. But what we're going to also talk about are why you build systems, not so much the effect of systems, which was a training topic I did quite a while back now. And what we discussed in that training topic, as you know, I always like to break things into little packets of 3 because it makes it easier to talk about on a training topic like this when I have roughly 15 minutes to explain something. But when we talked about the effect of systems, I said the effects of systems were time freedom, qualities and standards improve, and you get less churn. You lose less customers and you lose less staff. All of those are the effects of systems. So if you want to find out a little bit more of that, dig out the training topic. I can't remember when I did it. It was quite a while back, and have a listen to that. We're not going to go over that again, but we are going to talk a little bit about what systems provide you with, not just the effects. So reasons why to build systems, and the 3 reasons I've come up with are: they give you the ability to scale, they improve effectiveness, and they provide consistency. And they're the 3 reasons. And the 3 biggest objections that I come across when I speak to garage owners about building systems are effectively fear. No one says that, but that's what they mean. Resistance to change. We all have a certain amount of resistance to change, so there's always a bit of inertia to overcome there. And resource allocation, which is a posh way of saying I just don't have time, which is often the answer I get. And that I just don't have the time. When we start to drill down a little bit deeper into that one, it's really about resistance to change and fear, because they know they should allocate the right amount of resources to working on their business. They're just too busy working in their business. So that's an old story, and one that we tell many times in many different training topics. So let's talk about the reasons for building systems, which is probably the most important one, is the ability to scale, which is linked to the time freedom of the effective systems. And the number one, or one of the main reasons for starting your own business is freedom, and it's time and financial freedom are often quoted as reasons for starting your own business. The third one is generally you've been dissatisfied in previous employment and want to have a go yourself. So they're the 3. But having the ability to scale and time freedom is what systems allow businesses to do. So a well-designed system can scale with the business, accommodating new customers, products, services, or even employees without a proportional increase in overhead or stress on the owners. That is what a well-designed system allows the business to do. So let's take those very briefly and drill down just that little bit more. So if you have a system for dealing with customers, doesn't matter how many customers you have, what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to employ that system to deal with the customers effectively. And we'll come on to effectiveness in a second. And once you've built the system once, you don't have to build it again. You just need to get people to use the system and the processes you put in place to deal with customers. And so building systems isn't a repetitive task. It's one you may revisit and improve, but you don't have to rebuild the system as your business scales. If the system was good and effective or well designed in the first place, it should just scale. So what about, and this is probably the most important bit about systems, is when you have new employees. So let's say your business is growing and you've taken on a new member of staff. What's the onboarding system in your business? Do you have an onboarding system? It's probably the most important one, and it's often neglected. So as you gain more employees, does everyone know how everything works in your business? What is that process like? Do you give them a corner to put their toolbox in and tell them to get on with it, show them the kettle, and off you go? Or is there a system in place that shows them how things are done in your business? It'll save the business owner an awful lot of questions if you get that one right. And of course, what we're looking for is not a proportional increase in overhead with growth, and that's what systems allow you to do. It's all a little bit vague and a little bit, I don't know what you mean by that. But if you've ever grown, employed someone, got more customers, if you've done that in a very ad hoc fashion and you don't really have systems in place, you'll find quickly as the business owner or owners, you'll become swamped with inquiries from customers or questions from staff. If you have systems for everything that you do, they shouldn't be really asking you. There should be a method, if you like, an operating system for your business that they can refer to. And this allows the business to expand smoothly, to increase handle demand or changes in the market. And we're probably experiencing quite a big change at the moment. But flexibility is also key, and systems allow businesses to adapt to changes quickly, whether that is in the market, customer preferences, or change in technology. If you build a system whenever there's a change, you don't have to re-explain it every time someone faces that new change every time, because there'll be a system in place for it. So the ability to scale and deal with change is a great reason to build a system. The second, effectiveness, is probably a little bit underrated. Most people are trying to improve efficiency. There's been a recent conversation in the group, and efficiencies come up in that conversation. But nobody's really talking about effectiveness. And what's the difference between efficiency and effectiveness? Well, I have a little saying, and effectiveness is doing the right things and not just doing things right, which is sort of efficiency. So prioritizing effectiveness over efficiency shifts the focus to achieving the best outcomes with the available resources. So you can see that it's about doing the right things, not just doing things right. And doing the right thing is effectiveness. And it's choosing what to do that's really important. And systems allow your staff to choose to do the right thing every time. And especially in smaller micro garages, less than 9 employees, where resources are a little bit more limited, ensuring that every action and process leads to a positive impact on the business goals is crucial. So by doing the right things and not just things right is really important. So systems ensure that efforts are directed towards activities that truly matter, optimizing productivity, not just in terms of quantity, but the value delivered to customers and the business itself, which is what effectiveness is in kind of like in a nutshell. So that is a very brief explanation of how systems can improve effectiveness. It's maybe a subject we'll revisit in the future. The third reason for building systems is consistency. And then consistency is basically everyone has the same experience when they come to your garage. And having standardized procedures ensures that everything is done in a consistent manner, leading to predictable and high quality, hopefully, outcomes. Consistency is vital for maintaining the trust and satisfaction of customers, because the experience is always the same. It doesn't matter what the interaction or the purchase was with that customer, the experience they get is always the same. And consistency and having systems for this is vital. And one that I like to always explain as if you like, an explanation for consistency in this way, having a system for, do you have a method of recording how a customer likes to be addressed? Simple thing, but if you have someone who comes in and he likes to be called Andy, as I prefer to be called, rather than Andrew, do you have a method of recording that? Do you know how your customer likes to be addressed? There are obviously people out there who like to be called by their surname and addressed by Mr. whoever, rather than their first name. They don't like that familiarity. You don't want to get that wrong, but you want the customer to realise or notice that you've remembered how to address them. It's a small thing, but it's well worth a few brownie points from the customer satisfaction point of view. Also, when it comes to consistency, quality control processes embedded within systems help identify and rectify issues before they reach the customer, protecting the business's reputation and encouraging customer loyalty. Do you have, and this is probably one of the most important systems, some sort of QC, quality control processes going on within the business? So they're an example of consistency. So we'll get on to the objections that I always hear, and we'll start with them in reverse order, if you like, and we'll start with the one that I always hear first, which is I simply don't have time, which I've called resource allocation. It's really tempting to push systems down the pecking order because they don't seem to have an immediate effect on the business. They don't impact the bottom line straight away. And they can appear to be sort of costly, not just in the cost of actually putting systems together, but the time cost. Especially for smaller businesses where there is less time freedom available in the business. But I urge you to start building systems slowly. And it doesn't, once you get used to it, it doesn't take up too much time. And we've done another training topic on how to build systems, and the person closest to the task should be the person responsible for developing the system. As the business owner or owners, you can be involved in the process, checking it at the end, a bit of quality control, and making sure that we review them and maintain our systems and improve them where necessary. But it doesn't have to be the business owner that does it all, which is a common misconception. The perception of high upfront costs of technology, software, or expertise to design and implement systems is often seen as a significant barrier. But really all you need is a smartphone and a filing system to put the videos in, record someone doing a job the way you want it done, and you've built your first system. It's as simple as that. Anyone then who wants to know how to do that or how to engage in that activity can simply watch the video. You can use this as training by videoing someone doing it badly, a bit of role play if you like, and filming someone doing it perfectly as a bit of an exemplar. So it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much investment. It's a misconception. So time, money, and personnel are probably the most expensive thing in time and the personnel are the most expensive thing in the business. Yeah, but actually, building systems relieves you of time, gives you more time, and it, in fact, will deliver more money. So once we understand that, well, what's the real objection? Well, it's that resistance to change, isn't it? It's that significant inertia that doing the way we currently do them has. And how do we turn this boat around? So change is often met with resistance, both from business owners and the employees. For owners, I understand there may be a reluctance to change existing processes because they are perceived as already being successful. But how often do you review them? With a system, you should have an idea of how often you will review them, whether that be annually, 6 monthly, or whatever, or when you remember. Probably not a great idea, but you should have a system for your systems. Employees, on the other hand, may resist that. They feel they could, feel like they're not given any autonomy to do the job the way they like to do it when they're doing stuff, especially when it comes to speaking with customers. I'm a big advocate of scripts. I don't feel that anyone should read off a script, but what I think they should do is they should read a script, understand how you want to communicate with the customers, and then they inject their personality into it without actually deviating too far from the script. So resistance I often find comes from a lack of understanding of the benefits, a fear of the unknown we're going to get to in a second, or the discomfort of simply working in new and novel ways. So we get to the final objection, fear. When it comes to why people don't build systems. It seems a bit silly to talk about fear, but if you're the business owner and you come up with this newfangled idea, there always is that risk of failure that actually no one will pay attention. Yeah, whether this is due to technical issues, people can't use their phone, they don't know how to download a short video and put it in a folder, which is all it takes to build a system, as I've said. Poor adoption, people just don't bother. Or misalignment with your business needs. You don't prioritize the right systems first, and therefore it all seems a bit unnecessary, and it goes down the pan. The fear of failure, investing time and effort and resources into doing something that ultimately isn't benefiting the business, is one reason why people don't build systems. And it's probably the strongest deterrent. It's this worry that it'll be a waste of time. So be careful when you select what systems to build first. If you want to know a really simple system that you can put in place in your business to give you some confidence and see if it's working, basically record someone answering the telephone, and then record someone answering the telephone correctly, and there you go. You've got your first systems done, and then you can review it whenever you hear someone answer the telephone. You can say, "Have a look in that folder. Listen to that. That's how we answer the phone." You don't have to keep explaining it. So, other benefits of building systems and reasons why we shouldn't fear them is building systems within the business can facilitate better decision making through data collection and analysis. As we build our systems up, as we start doing things differently, we'll start to collect more information. They can also help with compliance with regulatory requirements and enhance the business ability to compete in the marketplace, whether that be locally or a little bit sort of further afield. Any time you spend investment is an investment when you develop systems within your business, because they can have a huge impact in the long-term success and sustainability of a micro business, even a small to medium enterprise. What's the atomic action for this week? Well, it's to pick your first system and have a go at building one, of recording something if that's the way you want to do it, of noting how you want something done, and then having maybe a mini training session with the staff that get involved in that particular job where that system and that process is then implemented, and then review it. And once you've got one and you've done one, you think, right, this isn't too bad, branch out a little bit. Task somebody, a member of staff, if you have more than one member of staff, task another member of staff with doing the second one, bringing it to you, fold it, put it in a folder, and then building slowly a number of systems around everyone's jobs in their business. It doesn't take long. It's well worth investing the time and effort, even though it seems a bit of a faff to begin with. Anything to do with customer consistency will have a positive impact on your business. If I've made you think about systems, why you should build systems, or any of the objections that I commonly hear to building systems, and where you sit in those three camps, then I've done my job. Thanks for listening, and I hope to see you soon.